4 ways to shut a company. You've got a dissolution, a liquidation voluntarily, a compulsory liquidation, and then you've got a members voluntary liquidation. A dissolution realistically is when the end of the company has happened, you've got no debts, you no longer need it, and you just apply to Companies House and you fill in what they call a DSO1 form. It costs £10. It's very, very straightforward. You can do it yourself. You send it out, and within 2 months, the company's struck off. But be sure that the company has no debts, or if it has debts, you write to your creditors, and providing they don't object, it will just go through the register and be struck off. The second, when a company has debts and is insolvent, is a creditor's voluntary liquidation. And this is when a director instigates the proceedings and takes advice, engages an insolvency practitioner to formally close the company. That costs money. Creditors can't object to that process. A liquidation brings an investigation into what's happened. The third way is a compulsory liquidation, when essentially the director does nothing and you leave it and the company's insolvent, and eventually a creditor will instigate the proceeding. Now usually that's HMRC or it could be the bank, but they will eventually apply to the courts to put it into liquidation. It's the same thing as a voluntary liquidation. It's the same result. The company goes, but ultimately it's a court-appointed procedure. So an official receiver will be appointed, and the first thing they'll do is obviously bring the directors to order and ask them a series of questions and do that investigation. So it's seen as a lot more of an onerous route for a director. The last one is what they call a members voluntary liquidation. This is when a company is solvent. So it's got reserves, it's got enough cash to pay all its debts, and there's stuff left over. And if it's over £25,000, it's usually more tax efficient to go through a members voluntary liquidation, because there's a better tax band for the shareholders to take their cash out, depending on how quickly you need it, depending on how much there is. All these 4 things, they're all very, very different. And if you're unsure, please give us a call, because that's what we're here for. So we're on your side and we're in your corner, the Directors Helpline.